All right, so welcome to the More Than Fatigue podcast. I'm Doug, and this is my wife, Christina. So the whole reason that we're doing this and inviting people into our lives is the more and more we learn about CFS, we learn that there's a lot of people who have a lot of questions, not necessarily just about a cure, but also about just how do you get through daily life, and are the symptoms that you're feeling the same as the symptoms other people are feeling. That's my reason for wanting to start this podcast.
I just mostly would want to spread awareness and share information with people who are sick in case maybe something I've learned can help them, and spread awareness among our general population that our illness exists and that it's real and serious, because a lot of people believe it's, oh, I'm tired too, or it's psychosomatic, or doctors put me on antidepressants. So just want to show that it's actually real.
So I think that the most interesting place to start would be to learn a little bit more about where you were before you had the illness.
Before I got sick, I was working as a conference coordinator. I used to travel the country, planning and executing conferences for hundreds to thousands and thousands of people, conferences and conventions. Such as Comic-Con in New York City, for instance. I used to spend 16-hour days on my feet running around a convention center. I didn't have a Fitbit, so who knows how many steps I did, but a real lot. And I used to travel for events every couple months, hauling equipment through airports and hauling boxes and setting up registration. On the weekends and nights that I was home, we were then renovating a house. So we were tearing down walls and putting in flooring, building cabinets. We gutted and renovated this entire house. Did a lot of painting.
Yeah.
Painting all the walls, the ceilings, painting furniture. So I was very busy and tired.
Yeah, but that was like normal human tired.
But that was understandable fatigue. I could still walk. I could still get around, even though I was tired, like all adults say, oh, I work full time and I travel for work, and after a full day of work, I come home and paint ceilings, so yeah, I'm tired.
Yeah, and this is before we had the illness, or you had the illness.
Yeah, that made sense.
I remember meeting you when I interned at a casino in Connecticut, and I was going to school for sport management, because I wanted to get into the sports and entertainment world. So we both interned with a casino for their WNBA team. Mm-hmm. So we met there. I remember walking into, because I started before Christina, I remember walking into the office like a normal day, and then I saw this new girl show up in there, and right when I saw her, it completely took me off guard. I'd never seen her before, and I had a moment of brain fog, because I forgot what I was in the office for after I saw you for the first time. And then I just stepped out into the hallway outside of the office, and then our supervisor walks out and says, "Hey Doug, you're going to the same place as this new girl, Christina, so would you mind taking her to the arena?" And I said, "Of course."
Say about that guy that hit on me the first day.
The guy that hit on you. So the first day I met her, there was a guy in the casino that worked there, doing the same things that we did. Yeah. And he felt like he wanted to flirt with Christina as well, but he only asked you like weird, inappropriate questions. He didn't ask you anything that would be like normal. He was like, "So, do you smoke?" And you were so, it was like the first thing you were asked when you got to where you were supposed to be working. So you said no, that you don't smoke. He asked you if you had kids, which
So, do you have kids?
is a red flag on somebody for so many reasons.
I was like, should I?
Yeah.
No, I don't have any kids. Am
I
I
mean-
supposed to have kids to work here?
At this point, you were 20 years old. Maybe,
He only dates smokers with children.
yeah, that's...
Those are his turn-ons.
From there, like I said, we started hanging out. We started talking on the phone every night. So,
Yeah, we just straight up interviewed each other
yeah,
because neither of us had the patience. If we weren't interested, we were just gonna move on. We didn't
yeah.
want to waste time. We're both very direct people anyway.
There was no point for her to date me for 6 months before she finds out that in my 20s I still watch professional wrestling and play video games.
Well, you told me you didn't play video games.
I said I didn't play video games a lot, so a lot is subjective. But I remember one weird quirk that I always had was I wanted to make sure that you weren't someone who wore uncomfortable shoes when we went places, because all the walking around, if you're just going to complain the whole time about an outfit choice that you made,
Now I can wear fancy high heel shoes and not even worry about my feet hurting.
correct.
I'm in my wheelchair, so I can wear fancy shoes all I want.
Yeah. When do you think was the first time you started to notice something was off?
Well, I had a series of medical procedures in 2018. First was a colonoscopy because I have ulcerative colitis. And after that, I just started getting really dizzy, and the fatigue was getting a lot worse. I was waking up. Not that I ever really was a morning person who woke up refreshed and jumping out of bed, but I was waking up feeling like I did the night before, like I hadn't slept, even though I did sleep. So I wasn't getting any rest at all from sleeping, and I was so dizzy I had to hold on to the walls of my office when I walked around, or hold on to colleagues at times when I was at an event, and I would lay on the floor of my office trying to get the dizziness to stop. And it wasn't vertigo because I've had vertigo. So the room wasn't spinning, it was me that was dizzy. And I could tell that something was wrong, but I was still getting up and going to work, and I still did my events. I managed to do those. And then at the same time I was having a lot of pain from endometriosis, because I have a handful of chronic illnesses.
Yep. Which it seems like from the research we've done, that's not rare for the ME/CFS community. There's a lot of things that you have that we've heard other people say that they have.
Yeah, they seem to go hand in hand, although doctors don't really understand why.
They don't understand a lot. Yeah.
So with autoimmune disorders and endometriosis and reproductive disorders and POTS and ME/CFS. So I had endometriosis, so I told my work that I walked into my boss's office and said, I can't do this anymore. I need to work from home. And if you have to fire me, then so be it. But I just can't do this.
Which was a scary thing in my life because, one, we didn't even know what ME/CFS was at this point, so we had no idea what was going on with you. But also, I'm at my job wondering if half our household income is going to get taken away because your job could have said, we don't want you anymore, and sorry.
Yeah, but I couldn't do it. I couldn't, with the pain keeping me up at night, and then the fatigue that was starting, I couldn't commute anymore. So they let me work from home full time, and that was fine. That was great. And then I finally got endometriosis surgery, and we were hoping that that was going to fix everything, because the doctors kept telling me the fatigue is related to the pain. The pain is causing you to be fatigued.
Yeah.
So we thought if I got the surgery, then everything would clear up and I'd get back to normal. But I got worse. After the surgery, it was like my body recovered from the surgery. My scars, my incisions healed perfectly. I had no complications in the physical healing from surgery, but I mean, anyone who's had surgery knows you just feel like total crap after. You're exhausted because your body is healing, and that makes sense, but that never went away.
I really think that we don't focus on what you can't do as much as we try to identify what are the things you can accomplish, what are the things that you can take pride in still, and how can we achieve those things. So
yeah, I try to focus on what I can do, because if I spent a lot of time thinking about what I couldn't do anymore, I would just cry all the time.
yeah,
So I try to just focus on the things I can do and appreciate those things. I'm always really proud when I get out of the house.
yeah.
I'm proud of myself for trying, and proud of myself for what the little things I can accomplish. You know, other people take them for granted, but to me they're a big deal.
Yeah. I remember, and this is where comedy started to blend in a little bit with this, is Christina went out and bought a Fitbit to make sure that she doesn't take too many steps. While all of my friends and colleagues that own Fitbits always bought them to like increase their steps. I'm going to do 10 to 15,000 steps in a day.
Yeah.
And Christina started realizing that there was a certain number of steps that if she stayed within, it would work out. And there's a joke that I do in my set, those of you that have watched my comedy before, where I joke about using a Fitbit to make sure that I'm not taking any unnecessary steps.
Your unfit bit.
And I called it my unfit bit. And we're definitely going to talk about, for the people that are watching this because you know me as a comedian, how these experiences and the things I talk about in my set aren't always necessarily literal. So when I talk about that Fitbit, I'm not necessarily talking about an experience I personally had as much as I'm talking about here's something that Christina's gone through and that's a way that her illness has brought laughter into our lives. So now when I'm on stage and I do that joke and she's able to watch it either on video or she's lucky enough to be in the audience, there's always this behind the scenes level of laughter as well, this second layer to it of knowing that that joke isn't just about fat dog being lazy. It's actually a joke that's come from CFS. I'm apparently even taking the wrong number of steps because she came home the other day with a Fitbit and she's like, you need to start tracking your steps. I mean, it works. The other night I was sitting on the couch wearing my Fitbit and my phone rang from across the room, and instead of getting up and like walking to it, I was able to just look at my Fitbit and be like, oh, that's my mother-in-law. She's not worth 8 steps. And I just stayed seated on the couch. I had no idea how many useless steps I was taking until my wife got me that Fitbit. I want to at least acknowledge and point out, because I think it would be wrong not to, as to how challenging this is to do just as a podcast for someone who has CFS. I give you all the credit in the world for offering this information and yourself up to the people that are watching to try and bring awareness and some life to this, I guess. I don't know how else to word that.
Yeah, I'll do. I've signed up for a lot of studies, releasing my medical records for research purposes. I'll do anything to find a cure. So, but we can't do that without more awareness among the general population, which could lead to more funding so that the doctors can actually properly run studies and find a cure.
Yeah. So in order to make all of that happen, that's where we turn to people that are watching this. So we can sit here and have these conversations like we do all the time between the two of us about our lives and strategies and research and all that stuff. But in order for this podcast to really take off, we need viewership, we need participation. So first and foremost, thank you for watching. But also, please participate in this experience by commenting on things that you want us to talk about. We're going to try and engage this conversation to what it is you want to hear as well. So please comment on the videos. Let us know what you think, what you want to hear about, your personal experiences. Those are all great to hear from us as well. But also, and possibly most important, is please share this. And not just with CFS communities. Share this with the caregivers. Share this with your friends and family that just
don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't, as much as you try to tell them and try to explain, they still don't understand. And you can't really blame them, because I don't know if anyone can fully understand without living it. But this is the best way that we can try to find to explain to people who are healthy what it's truly like.
Yeah.
And break the stigma that it has.
I'm also here not just to interview my wife, but to provide that perspective of this is what my life now looks like as a caregiver. It definitely is a big part of our lives, and I want people to not just relate to Christina, but also listen to the experiences that I have as well as on the caregiver side. So with that, this is, like we started off by saying, a short introduction into who we are, why we're doing this, and what we hope to cover. So from me, thank you for watching. I'm going to be posting, or we're going to be posting on my comedy Facebook page once a month, our actual full episodes, which are going to be much more in depth and hopefully be motivated by your comments from this video, where we look through and say, you know what, a lot of people want to hear about, how did Christina get Social Security disability? How did she get a motorized wheelchair that she could take around? How did she accomplish getting to all of the different things that she's done? She's worked her butt off to the point of almost pure unconsciousness to get to where she is today, and we don't want to hog the information we've learned along the way, so on. Please comment, please share, and thank you for watching.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.